Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's episode of Trade the Chain. It is March 1st. We're out of February. Thank God. March 1st. It is Monday, the start to a brand new week, but it seems to be starting off on a positive note. A lot of picked up momentum in the markets as we come into this week, and a lot of high hopes from all of you, I'm pretty sure, to still keep making money. I'm joined by my co-host Ryan Gorman, as well as CJ and Monty, crypto analysts from marketrebellion.com. And today we're going to go over the big boards. Ryan has some news about, I think it was a cow tipping, Ryan?
Yeah, always.
Anyway, something from Citi. They decided to, go public on a Bitcoin mention. So that's out in the market right now. And then, of course, one of the most exciting things that we're all, really salivating here for is the 5 p.m. Eastern time. And I use that word salivating. The 5 p.m. Eastern time earnings call for VGX, Voyager, the great broker of beyond. So we're looking forward to that. Ryan, off to you for the legal, please.
Thanks, Alex. This is just a reminder that Trade the Chain, all content provided on it is strictly for educational purposes only. Absolutely none of this is investment advice, and none of it should be taken as such. Do not listen to us at all, ever. And this is also another reminder that Trade the Chain is brought to you by TradeTheChain.com, a global community of traders around the world of all ages, all abilities, all knowledge levels, all using AI-driven sentiment indicators and actionable alerts to help them beat the market. You can too by checking out TradeTheChain.com for a 14-day trial.
1,400 members in 23 time zones.
Roaring in.
Active 24 hours a day. It's a great community. Love it.
All that green.
And moving over to marketrebellion.com/crypto. This is Monty and myself and Market Rebellion and our community. And with us, you get exclusive trade ideas, our macro portfolio allocations, a pro charting platform, a trading education curriculum, and an elite community of traders all throughout the world, and much more. If you're serious about trading crypto, this is the service that gives you everything you need all in one place. And you can start your first month trial for just $1 at marketrebellion.com/crypto. We have a mobile app as well now for Apple users. So we appreciate that, guys. Just $1. You're not going to.
I do want to interrupt there for CJ, because I want to say that, and I've said this in the past. One of the things about Market Rebellion, if you do join, is I get all the emails for the cocktail hour, as well as the weekly market roundups and the guest appearance. And Market Rebellion actually, I mean, they're not as cool as CJ, Monty, Ryan, and I, but when they do a video today, they have Renato Legge, who's a portfolio manager for ARK Invest. That's happening today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're a member of Market Rebellion, you get to go and check that out with them while they do that. And that's really freaking cool. So I'm going to be tuning into that. I'm excited to watch it. ARK Invest has been making big moves. So sorry, CJ.
Time to get that trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks. We appreciate that. We had Kathy Wood on a couple weeks ago, but obviously she's much more busy than when we had her. She's really one of the smartest on the street. So, but heading over to the big boards here, starting with Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart. Last week, Monty pointed out this descending triangle type formation on the 4-hour chart with a base at roughly 45K. Ever since, we broke this kind of apex just slightly, but we had a rally in the stock market as the fears around increased rates have eased. And with that, we saw a big increase in jump in the S&P, the Dow, and in Bitcoin. And now we've broken out of that descending triangle, so I can take this line right here and go ahead and delete it. And we're coming up on another support level, or resistance level rather, at about 48K. I want to look at the 1 day and just add some more Keltner channels here before we get further on in the analysis. But as you can see here, we've had a very nice increase to start the week and a nice higher low on the 4-hour chart. But now looking at the daily chart here, we are running into a bit of resistance at that 48, 49K level. We're getting rejected by that middle Keltner channel and coming down just a little bit. But if we consolidate above that 45K level and continue, I'm going to be very optimistic that we're going to go up, make new highs, and possibly, in fact, this was the low. But I want to go over here and look at the weekly charts to better illustrate how we're actually holding that support on the 45K level. You can see that our full decrease was only 26%, but nevertheless, very promising to see the equity market rally. I think if that rally continues throughout the week and those fears around potential rate hike increases, if they ease, I think Bitcoin will likely be able to resume its bullish trend and go and make new highs. So I am very optimistic, much more optimistic than I was last week, now seeing that 45K level has held. So we'll see, but very promising start to the week, I must say, for the bulls.
Yes, I agree, CJ. It's very refreshing. March is here. That last week of February was rough. It was a pretty rough week for crypto. But here in Chicago, the snow is thawing. It's getting nice out. And the crypto markets are heating back up. So I want to take a look at the 4-hour chart here. And let's kind of look at some of the technicals. Like CJ pointed out, we did break below this 45K setup support level. We found some really nice support here at this bottom Bollinger Band. And these Bollinger Bands have been really useful for me in the last couple of weeks during this steady decline here. I've kind of been using them as a gauge to think about when I may enter a trade, when a good idea is to take profit, and when I should just kind of stay away altogether. Looking at this chart, when I see Bitcoin pass above this middle Bollinger Band here, it's kind of a no-touch zone for me because it tends to get rejected at this upper band. And that's kind of what we're seeing happening here is us getting rejected at this 49K upper Bollinger Band. Also, you have to take in consideration that there's some 50K psychological resistance kind of baked in here. I'm sure a lot of people that were buying during this period here and were maybe a little bit freaked out when we broke below the support are more than happy to take profits at 49K. It's a pretty tidy profit of about 12%. So nothing wrong with taking profits there. But I do like that Bitcoin is kind of posturing itself much differently than it has been in the last week. We're seeing it kind of, I think CJ might be right here that this is the new low. And if that's the case, what I'm going to look for is maybe a bounce off this middle Bollinger Band as we head back down. So a bounce maybe off 47K and eventually a breakout above 50K would be my ultimate reassurance that we've kind of moved past this bearish market cycle. One last thing I will point out for Bitcoin is the sentiment. Oh, look at that. Right on cue. I was actually looking at the daily sentiment just a minute ago. It was at 59. Now it's at 60. So like I'd been pointing out all week, this for me is a huge indication that retail money is going to be more comfortable entering the space. And here we are. It's bullish again, 11% change in the last 24 hours. So this to me is a very, very encouraging metric. And I'm going to be watching to see if that can provide some significant momentum to break us back above 50K. And if we do, I think 58K is a very likely possibility. So feeling good. It's a new month, new market, and the bulls are back, baby.
Monty is excited.
I love it. Love bullish Monty. Doesn't show up too often. That rally started in earnest this morning after SETI put out a bit of a research report on how they feel Bitcoin is at a tipping point due to institutional adoption. One of the things that they expressed a concern about, though, and this is something worth considering in the context of this bullish market, if it does reappear, is that they're worried about the willingness of corporates to invest in Bitcoin once the pandemic ends and things kind of normalize to pre-COVID levels in terms of economic activity. They feel that if Bitcoin and corporates stop buying it and allocating to it and investing in it in large quantities, it doesn't have the support it has now, and we could see not only a significant retracement, but a return to much more volatile times. What do you, CJ and Monty, what do you think is the likelihood of something like that happening?
My main disagreement with that point comes in the fact that they're assuming that post-COVID, there's going to be this sort of reversion to how it was pre-COVID. But the way I see it is that this kind of pandemic was a catalyst to a paradigm shift. And I don't think we're going to be going back after just because COVID's over and people are able to transact with physical money and able to go out and do things. I think this pandemic has really changed things in the big picture. I think we're moving towards this cashless society that's governed by digital finance. And I think that this is just the beginning. This really accelerated the adoption of crypto. And I don't think, although maybe the adoption rate post-COVID may be a little bit less drastic than what we're seeing here during COVID, I still think that the changes are irreparable. Society is much more responsive and acceptive of cryptocurrency just because of what we've seen in the last year during this pandemic. So I don't think that there's really any fear that we're going to revert back to the way things were pre-COVID.
One thing that's also concerning, they say that Bitcoin could become the currency of choice for international trade for all of the reasons that we discuss and everyone in this space discusses all the time. Decentralization, lack of foreign exchange exposure, faster money movements, more secure, traceable, all of that. That's all fine and good. But China's CBDC is on the horizon. And as their economic influence grows, right, and they bring the BSN online and they start signing all these partners, international, domestic, it seems to me like the Bitcoin has less of a chance of becoming a currency of international trade as long as the digital renminbi exists.
That makes a lot of sense, Ryan, because it doesn't, why wouldn't they just use a stable coin that they can control and, actually manipulate's a bad word, but it is what they would do. With Bitcoin, yeah, you don't have that control, and that's okay. Bitcoin doesn't have to be a means of exchange and international trade to still have value. But I feel that there would be more benefits if they did that with stable coins, depending whether or not they wanted full decentralization. If the decentralization doesn't really matter, then of course they could just use stable coins and have the same effect, if not greater.
Exactly, right? It makes sense to have digital currencies be used for international trade and finance, but when you have like shipments like that go via the ocean or via plane, and you have like net 30, net 45 payment terms on them, how are you going to use Bitcoin for that? That doesn't make sense. Bitcoin fluctuates so wildly from month to month that I wouldn't ever accept terms priced in Bitcoin, but I'd probably accept them in a digital yuan. Like why? I don't know. I can't imagine Bitcoin being used that way.
Yeah, and the good thing is that's not Bitcoin's use case. So
Yeah.
although I agree that that's just not a reality in the future, but that's fine for Bitcoin. I think other cryptocurrencies will pop up, settlement currencies, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I agree that that's not an ideal use case for Bitcoin.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right. Well, I just wanted to touch on a few cryptos that I am covering. The first two I want to just check out and just point out for a week are Luna and Nervos Network, CKB. And both have bullish and very bullish on the sentiment. But these two I'm just picking out because they are new to the Voyager app, and this is going to tie in to some other stuff. But as I go through the Rebellion Ops Center, you can see Luna, which is newly listed to Voyager, and we'd spoken about this in a previous episode. Kind of had that pop up on the listing effect of Voyager, as well as CKB Nervos Network, which is brand new, but you can see where it just tore up to the upside. These two seem to be faring pretty well. What I did notice, guys, is that unlike a lot of other new listings, these actually have been sustaining themselves. And this is a trend. I know Ryan looks at these with me as far as listing trends, but this is a trend that we don't often see, is a sustainability where it doesn't drop down lower than its listing price at times, which is very common. So I give a lot of credit. I don't know if it's the platform, the amount of users that are here, but it seems to be making its own mark on Voyager. So I found that interesting. I wanted to point that out. Another one, KNC. I don't know what it is, guys. CJ, do you know what the current market cap of KNC is? It's like 4.25, somewhere around there, million. But this thing, Kyber, currently trading around 162 mark. They've been their market cap has been just going up and up and up. And I know that we've kind of settled and retracted a little, not retracted in takeaway of lockup, but on price consolidation of ETH lockup. But I really feel like these guys are due to kind of break out with their siblings, Sushi and Uni. So I'm keeping a close eye on KNC, and I do own KNC. I like KNC. And then Stormx. Stormx, this thing has gotten range bound. Anybody care to comment on that? I'd love to hear CJ and Monty your thoughts on Stormx from a range bound trading perspective. It had such momentum the other week.
Those three charts you just brought up look identical. So it looks like the market collectively is kind of hitting that double bottom on the 4 hour after that bottoming on the TD sequential buy 9 like last week or a week ago. And so, yeah, I mean, it's trading in a range. The thing about Stormx and like these little market cap coins is that I think they need a narrative. I think they need hype. I think they need a lot of retail market participants to start coming in the market to really pump those things up over 50% or possibly 100% from where they are current at price levels. So we need retail money to come into the space, and we need people to, I don't want to say gamblers, but like the Robinhood options buying type mentality where, those are the buyers that could seriously send some of these cryptocurrencies to parabolic levels. But we just need to see the buy pressure come in. We need to see price like hit breakout levels. And let me bring
What do you think? What do you think we need to hit with Stormx? Now, we can solve one of those problems, right? We have the CEO, founder of Stormx. He's going to be in the episode that's dropping tomorrow morning, so people will be able to take a look at the hard questions that we asked and the story behind Stormx. But where do you think we need to be for Stormx to do that breakout? Above the 10, above the 11, above the 12 mark?
Yeah, I would say recent high of. Thank you for that, Alex. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See that 9 right there? Yep. I would buy that breakout above that 9 because there really isn't any resistance other than the all-time high. That was just a very brief wick up to 1.712 that you can see on the left side a little bit there. But, the thing to remember is that it really doesn't take much to move these coins. If you're putting in an order of the 5K on these, you're going to move the market a little bit. So it really doesn't take much. But when it does come in, it comes in like all at once. So you got to be ready. I mean, that's pretty much what happened with VGX.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. And I think Stormx is actually postured nicely right now just because of the way it's kind of been trading a bit more actually sideways than most other assets. Like if you look at Bitcoin's 4-hour chart, it was actually a more steady decline. Whereas here we're seeing it sort of level off, and we're allowing these Bollinger Bands to kind of turn over and act as support again here. And one thing I always talk about is these psychological profit-taking levels. And here we're approaching 1 cent. So, I mean, think about that. 1 cent, the next resistance isn't until 1.5 cents. So I think entering right now is a pretty not only safe trade because of the support with this Bollinger Band, and then the TD setup support, but it also has great upside potential in the sense that a break above 1 cent would likely lead to continuation up to this level. And like CJ pointed out, a break above this level means that there's really no more resistance left for Stormx. And yeah, I agree with CJ 100%. Once this thing starts moving, because of its low market cap, low price point, it's going to move very, very fast. And I think it's worth considering just the fact that Voyager has been onboarding a massive amount of users. CJ told a pretty funny anecdote about one of his friends that was getting into crypto, and he just scrolled all the way to the bottom of the app and chose Stormx because it was down at the bottom, lowest market cap, lowest price point. And I think he won't be alone in that. I think a lot of traders will just try and grab up as much of an asset as they can because they understand that cryptocurrency is about to boom. So I do like what Stormx's potential is looking like. And I'm really looking forward to hearing that interview tomorrow as well. So I like where Stormx is at right now, and I'm going to be watching it closely this week.
Hey, could you go back? I just
Yeah.
want to point out one thing on the chart. Could
Sure.
you draw a price line from that TD, or a flat line, sorry. On that TD9, no, at the bottom.
Down
Yeah.
here?
No, at the TD buy 9 and the TD sell 9. They look at that confluence between the previous one on the run up.
Oh, this
Wow.
one?
Yeah. See
Yeah.
how perfect that is?
Yeah, that is
Beautiful
perfect.
confluence.
Hmm.
So that's all I had to say.
Yeah, that's good support for sure. That's good reason to be confident entering a long trade right now. So,
All right, very cool. The excuse me. The last thing I want to get to is exciting, and CJ, if you could help me out with this by maybe pulling up a VGX chart. So shortly after you folks tune out of watching us here, you will more than likely be scrambling around the internet trying to find out how you can listen to the Voyager earnings conference call that is happening right after this episode at 5 o'clock Eastern time. A lot of people are excited about this. We all know that there was a lot of new accounts that were opened up when Voyager went down. A lot more have been funded. That wait list has been steadily worked through. I believe I've heard of wait times being down to just a couple days where they were a couple weeks, but there was hundreds of thousands of people who literally showed up at the doorstep in one weekend to try to open up an account here at Voyager. So I know there's a lot of anticipation around this. And not only that, but the coin is VGX is reflecting that interest as well with its pricing today. CJ, anything you and Monty can talk about as far as what the technicals look like?
Yeah, you mind if I just take over right here?
You
Yeah,
take
go ahead.
over.
So it was pretty nerve-wracking, if you were holding VGX and held down to about 454 or whatever this wick went to. But we bounced back, and it was really nice to see buy pressure step in at those levels, especially when we make kind of this higher low here, and we only go down to about 514 on the second time and then test up. What I've been saying about VGX a lot is just that there's a lot of sell pressure at $7. It seems like there's a lot of OGs taking profit at that level. But the formation that we're at right now does not look that characteristic of a top. It looks like we're building momentum to potentially test that 720 level for the fourth time and potentially even break higher. We might see a catalyst during the Asian session this evening with that Voyager call also taking place. But I'm going to be looking to enter, or I would be looking to enter at a 720 level if we break above that recent high, because we're looking ultimately at a test up to 10K after that level. As you can see on the one-day chart, this middle Keltner channel, and I'm pretty sure it's the exact same for the Bollinger Band, has been serving as very nice support all throughout the uptrend on VGX. So very promising with that. I just want to look at the performance versus Bitcoin right here for a second. So this is Voyager and how it's performed relative to Bitcoin. You can see that we reached a TD sell 9 just a few days ago, and we did come down. But ever since, we're coming back up, and things are looking pretty strong. It looks like we're about to test this 15,000 Satoshi level once again. after the previous high. That was about $5 or $6 the first time we hit it on Binance. So, we'll see. But with the good news coming out, with the technical formations, I'm hoping to see some fireworks tonight. Might not happen, but it may.
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know it's listen, for me it's one of the most anticipated earnings calls, because I feel like we've lived through it and what's happened over the last month and a half with Voyager. So I'm really eager to see what those numbers turn out to be, because Steve was unable to tell us through all the episodes he did with us this past month.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly add, I mean, the daily chart looks super bullish, but look how nicely the technicals are kind of holding up here. Like CJ pointed out, this $7.2 level for me is the key right here. This is what I'm watching. A break above this level, I think, could carry VGX to $10. Now, do I think that's going to happen tonight? No, I do think a lot of tonight's anticipation is already baked into this current rally. But like CJ pointed out, so much of Voyager's price action is contingent on the Asian session. So you never know. They could trade this bullishly and continue to rise, because there really is no resistance once we break this level. So really exciting time to be a Voyager holder.
Makes me very happy, I just want to say. And Monty, congratulations on your crystal neon background. I heard that was a artistic gift from our very own CJ, so that looks cool. Like it.
CJ is the background expert.
It's about the must. I can't contribute much with that art degree, but sometimes.
Oh my God, very cool, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate you. Oh, wait, hold on. We have Ryan breaking in.
Yeah, one more thing real quick.
Did Michael Saylor just announce he's buying more Bitcoin?
No, God, no. This is far more important than that. I just had a flood of DMs from a bunch of friends and other people I know about an Instagram account impersonating me. I've made it. I've arrived. I now have a scammer impersonating me, hitting people up for crypto.
That's so awesome.
That's not me. I will not ever ask anyone.
Dude, I've already sent you 5 Bitcoin today. That wasn't you?
No, but no, I would never DM anyone asking for crypto. That's just ridiculous. So if you get that, just block and report it.
You're not that down bad yet. Not yet.
Yeah, just a reminder, folks. I mean, to what Ryan's saying, first of all, never give Ryan crypto, even if it is his real account hitting you up, don't give him crypto. But there's a lot of impersonating going on lately with this bull run. I think I had somebody coming into the YouTube channel. But you know what's funny, Ryan? I had a Twitter impersonator couple months back, and I actually retweeted his or her profile of me, because I found it odd that my impersonator had about 6 times more followers than me.
Me too. It's infuriating. He has 10 times more followers than I do. I don't even use
fake me has more followers.
Yeah. Like, am I just that bad at Insta? Like, and all I do is take my pictures, put them on that profile, so it's the same content, but they have 10 times the followers.
Well, they're giving away free crypto. You guys aren't.
That is true. Yeah.
Damn
oh
it.
well.
Oh, well.
That being said, folks, you haven't made it in crypto until somebody impersonates you. Everybody, thank you very much for watching today. As always, super appreciative of it. We did hit 10,000 subscribers over the weekend. And so I was really excited about that, particularly because I was going down to Philadelphia to partake in some Philly cheesesteaks with Ryan this weekend. But there will be a tribute video coming out for that, with some outtakes, some slow motion, some soft music in the background, mainly surrounding CJ and all his glory moments that he's had on Trade the Chain. But thank you for that. We'll see you tomorrow. And you could definitely, we're going to cover, obviously VGX's earnings calls. We'll cover a little bit tomorrow's show of that, but everybody, that's coming at 5 o'clock Eastern time this evening. Thank you very much. Hang on to your handlebars and happy trading.